Hi guys, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. I hope that you're doing well. I keep getting emails requesting that I look at the political situation in the US, even though the election is already technically over. So I'm gonna do that. I wanna say very quickly that all the personal readings are up, posted. You've been emailed if you had one this past week. If you would like to have a personal reading, do email me and we can get you set up for this week upcoming. I'm happy to do those for you. And if you just have questions or want to know how the readings work or what kind of questions you can ask me, you can always email me and we can just chat about it. And then that way you can sort of figure out for yourself if I'm the right reader for you. I hope that you're all doing well, keeping optimistic and hopeful, being kind and loving and compassionate to your neighbor. Did a podcast last week or a couple weeks ago called The Ground Floor, and I may have talked to you guys about it as well, but I think that in times of crisis or in times of uncertainty, which is certainly where it feels like we are right now, the best thing that you can do is to love your neighbor, to just be kind to the people around you. Because those are things and feelings and behaviors that you can control, and that's a very simple way that you can affect change in a positive way in the whole world. Okay, there's definitely a ripple effect to being to being loving, to being generous, just on the ground floor, which is where we are. If the guys in control are up on the penthouse, then I like to think we're down here on the ground floor, and we can do a lot of good things down here. So just a reminder about that. I'm going to start off kind of general and see where it goes. Ooh, what can you tell me about Trump, Biden? What's going on politically? Page of Cups popped out. It's interesting because sometimes this card reminds me of a court jester just because there's a fish in his cup and he's got the I don't even know what you would call this, scarf around his head. Turban, I guess? Is that a turban? Sometimes it reminds me of the court jester, and it's funny that it fell out as I said Biden's name. We'll see what else comes out. Can be a message. Can be an unexpected message. It sort of feels like this is a message, a letter, some kind of communication that someone had fun with in the same way that you would put a whoopee cushion in somebody's chair or something like that. It feels like a prank or something. Queen of Pentacles comes out. She's in the reverse, but we'll just do upright today because that's what I'm feeling. Grounded, earth energy, stable energy, secure, sure, practical, planning. Three of Wands flipped. Planning for the future, patience when waiting for something to happen, or this is a waiting for your ships to come in type of energy. This is also someone who's prepared for a long haul, it feels like to me, because the way that he's dressed, he knows that he's going to go on a journey. Wherever he's going, he's prepared. He's got, it looks like rope to me. That's what I always think that is rope. So he knows that, you know, he may have to climb some mountains. He knows that he's going to have to be in this for a little while, and he's ready for that. He might be waiting for the signal. I just heard waiting for the signal. So this feels to me somebody standing in a place of power, of responsibility, a key holder, something like that, watching for the sign, waiting for the signal. So far, too, let me hold these up before I go any further. So far, I have three people. These were the three person energies, okay? We have a page, we have a queen, and we have an unknown, okay? His back is to us. We don't actually know this person's rank or position, responsibility, job, anything like that. But they're each holding something. So far we have a cup, we have a pentacle, and we have a wand. Three of the four suits are represented, and each person, it looks like, has been given a certain responsibility or a certain piece of the puzzle. Okay, Eight of Wands comes out, swift action. This card also reminds me, and I know that I told you before, but it reminds me of movies like Braveheart or the 300, where it's a lot of arrows raining down from the sky. In warfare, it would be sort of like that. And possibly an unexpected attack. Something coming from above. A lot of things happening all at once or being revealed all at once. Shots fired type of energy. What else? Okay. Queen of Cups. Okay. So now we have two queens. This queen is under Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So again, it feels like people, many players, and each one has a certain specific, possibly responsibility, a certain piece of information. I'm not sure what these are yet, but she sits directly under the Queen of Pentacles. So we have them like this, okay? Which for some reason for me feels significant, and I don't even know why yet. We'll just keep going and see what else we get. If you happen to know Trump's sign, star sign, sun sign, and Biden's, let me know those, because I don't know. Three of Cups. So we have celebration, and she's, oh wow, okay, so, and they, excuse me, not she, but this three is under the Three of Wands. So that's two threes. The number three could be significant in some way. 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, March, something happening possibly in March, because these remind me of the Fates as well, if you're familiar with, I believe it's Greek mythology. But this is a card of celebration, and celebrating with like-minded and like-hearted and like-spirited people. Sometimes it's called a card of sisterhood because it's about tribe. So this could be the coming together of some of these energies for a common purpose and being successful in that. I'm going to do one more row at the bottom, and then we will clarify if we need to. Okay, that was two that came out, so let me be careful. Guys, I can't make this up. We have the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups comes out on the bottom row. So 7 is significant as well. 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 hours, 7 people. Sneakiness, underhandedness, deception, sometimes strategy, or just being careful with your words, being very careful with the things that you say or that you communicate to others, because you don't want to reveal yourself or reveal something in battle. Then illusion. Okay, this can be disillusionment, inability to make choices, indecisiveness. Sevens, where the threes are about your throat chakra and your voice and your self-expression in some way. Sevens are more to me about your crown chakra, your spirituality and connection to the divine. So someone could be divinely guided, divinely led at this time. Someone could have confused someone else too. There's so many people in here. I want to make sure that I point out the possible scenarios here. This feels like someone being strategic in order to keep someone else guessing, or even emotionally, you know, mixed up. I don't know if I'm happy or sad because I don't know what's happening right now. Okay, and we had two come out together again. 8 of Cups, so another 8, and the Wheel of Fortune. Walking away from something or appearing to walk away from something. It's not in a giving up sense though. That's not what this card really represents. Is walking away from something that possibly was what you wanted, or possibly what you thought you wanted until you got it, and then you realized it maybe wasn't all that great, or it wasn't a good fit for you. So moving forward without that thing. Wheel of Fortune has to do with the divine symphony, I always call it, the grand workings. You know, I believe in, what am I looking for? I believe in free will, but I also believe in destiny. I believe the two of those things can coexist in the way that a choose your adventure book works. So and the way that my dad used to explain it would be like, you know, imagine you have a tree here, right? And you pick this choice in your life. All of these are choices that are possible roads for you, and you pick this one. And so when you choose this one, when you decide on this thing, more choices come out, more paths come out, and it just continues that way your whole life. So by the time you get to the end of your life, there are millions of choices and possibilities you could have taken, millions of roads you could have taken, and possibly, you know, been as happy, as content in those. But every time you make a choice, new branches, you know, pop out of that one. And that's what I think of right now when I'm thinking about the Wheel of Fortune. There are lots and lots of ways to do this, possibly, and depending on a decision made, possibly in the very near future, because I have 2 8s again. 8s are about abundance, manifesting, infinity. So this is something that for someone is weighing heavily, because it will affect the future, possibly of us as a nation, of us as a world, as a collective, the history of the universe, basically, with the Wheel of Fortune card going forward. So there's very much, it's not a burden, but there is pressure to make an educated, ethical choice, you know, to pick the right road or one of the right roads. And depending on what choice is made with whatever this is, will affect the way the next things go. Okay, so it does feel like something is up in the air right now. Everything is not totally nailed down, and it has to be this and it has to be this. We don't have black and white on whatever this is. Wheel of Fortune is also a 10, so it is completing a cycle. Sometimes for me, when I do personal readings, it has to do with cutting off a certain cycle. So it's a cycle that once it's completed, and the 10 would mean completion, but once the cycle is completed, it will not be repeated again, like ever. So it's something like I stopped smoking, and and never going back to that choice, that cycle in your life again. Okay, but we'll clarify some of these and see what else we get. And I'm using the Light Seers Tarot to clarify. I just love these cards. They're very positive energy. I love the synchronicity in the cards that we've got so far. The repeated numbers. The repeated queens. I'm feeling very strongly a springtime energy with the 3 of Wands and the 3 of Cups. That feels like having to be patient. Something is moving slowly, or we know that it's going to happen. Something's happening March or April time is what that feels like to me. We may be waiting on some of these key players who maybe have their information, or they have their marching orders, so to speak. We have to wait until something happens with that, until the time is right. Something like that. Clarifying the top row. I didn't want to ask a specific, I just have to follow my gut, and my gut said don't ask for each card. So we're clarifying the top row, and I'll hold those up for you too, because we talked about these being players. Sorry, I wish I had more hands. Okay, so we have them like this, remember? We have this court jester, possibly a funny message or a surprising message. We have this Queen of Pentacles who looks like she's been put in charge of something, responsible for something, grounded, earthy, stable, we can trust her energy, financially secure energy. And then we have this person who we cannot see who this person is. We don't know their identity. They're waiting for something. They're preparing for something, or they are prepared. And for this row, we have the Magician. Okay, you'll notice that the 8, the infinity symbol that we just talked about, is on his hoodie up here as well. This is someone who is creating something at this time, who is bringing something into reality, someone who has control of all the elements, which is interesting because on this first row I did mention we have a cup, a pentacle, and a wand. Sometimes for me too, when the 3 of the 4 suits show up in a reading, it's important to look at the one that doesn't. And we didn't have swords on this top row. So right now, there's no communication. Okay, that would mean to me that we might be in a silent period or a blackout period, but something is going on behind the scenes. Something is being manifested or being worked on, being built even behind the scenes. Clarifying the second row. Knight of Cups. Okay, and the second row is this 8 of Wands, the Queen of Cups and the Three of Cups. It's celebratory energy. So Knight of Cups is an emotional offer. A lot of people say a love offer, but in this instance, when pages are messages, knights are actions. So this is moving forward on something from the heart. I'm just looking to see if there's any other message here. I think I'm going to pull one more for that. The Knight of Cups is a very go with the flow, sensitive when he's a person, energy, a vulnerable energy. Possibly whatever, you know, in the Magician energy, whatever it is that I'm working on, there may be some trepidation there as far as revealing it to the public or to whomever we want to reveal it to, but in an excited way, not in a nervous or not confident in it way, but in an excited way, almost like when you give somebody a surprise gift, like on Valentine's Day. Oh, and this could actually represent Valentine's Day, something happening around that time, just because it's such a Valentine's Day card. He's holding roses, we've got a picnic down here, and a love letter. Could also represent the way someone feels about our country, actually. Someone very patriotic who has deep feelings and emotions. Okay, and Queen of Wands comes out. Now we have 3 queens in this reading. So again, we have Wands, we have Pentacles, we have Cups. So we're looking at who's missing. It's the Queen of Swords. So again, communication is not priority at this time, which means that letting us know what's going on is not priority at this time. Queen of Wands is a passionate, empowered energy. And again, someone who, when I hold her up for you next to the Magician, this is someone who has power in their hands. Something is definitely being worked on. Something is being created, made, built. It's not a destructive energy, though. It's something that is, something's being built, is what it feels like to me. Okay, and then for the last row, we have these 2 sevens, remember? 7 of Swords and 7 of Cups. And then over here on this other side, we have the 8 of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to clarify this last row. And I love when you guys tell me what you see in the cards, so please comment down below anything you think I missed. Oh my gosh. Death and Rebirth. I love this card. This is my favorite representation of death in any of the tarot decks that I have. It's so beautiful to me because it's literally, it's the best representation, best illustration, I guess, of what death is, as far as just sort of removing the cloak and being in this new reality. So I think that, like we talked about before, choosing love over fear, right? The 2 paths that you can take. We've talked about before the split, the ascension, the 3D and the 5D, and I am not super educated enough to explain those things to you guys, but there's lots of videos on YouTube. Some of you are very knowledgeable about these things, but this is such a great representation of what we're all hopeful is happening for the collective right now, which is a death of the old way, of the old earth, of the old nation, possibly the old way of doing things, and a birth of something brand new. Okay, and it's sort of like, you know, just when the caterpillar thought his life was over, right? He became a butterfly, which I love that quote, and I have goosebumps all over my arms when I say that. Death and rebirth is what's clarifying this last row where we have strategy in order possibly to cause confusion. Confusion is good right now. It's almost like sleight of hand too. Somebody could be like, look over here while they're doing this thing over here. And then on this side we have that 8 of Cups and that Wheel of Fortune. So as soon as a decision is made, or choice is made, we'll be able to move forward as a collective. Possibly when all these things are revealed, we'll be able to move forward to as a collective. And this does also feel like revelation, okay? It's almost like, you know, death is such a sad thing for us as humans when we lose someone we love. And of course I'm speaking from experience, but so many of you have lost someone that you love, and it feels like such a negative, sad, horrible thing. Painful thing, but for the person that experiences it, it's one of the most significant experiences of their spiritual journey, you know, in all eternity. That transition from physical life and limited and human and tangible into eternal and spiritual and expansive and everything that they forgot that they are Do you know what I mean? Like that transfer back to that spiritual being. So it definitely feels to me like massive, massive change for us as a nation. It does feel like we have some spiritual help, some things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, we're not meant to know about. I do feel like there are some key players in this game right now, men and women, and one of them might be someone who is a shock or surprise that is revealed. I do think something happening in March, April, but it feels March to me. I just heard Ides of March. I don't know if that means anything, but it's March 15th. Possibly something happening. Significant numbers are 3 and 7 and 8. 3, 7, and 8. So I hope that was entertaining for you at the very least. I'm sorry that I don't have very, very detailed information for you, like names or actual dates, but it looks like right now we're just not meant to know everything. I would encourage you, like I have been, to just continue to trust the universe, trust your intuition. Some of you are having dreams. You're sending me emails about dreams that you're having and intuitions that you're having. Trust that, flow with that, connect in meditation, try to stay grounded, spend time in nature, keep yourself calm. Everything is always working out for your and for my highest good, and I just wanted to remind you of that, even when it feels like it's not, okay? Everything is always working out for your highest good and for our highest good. So believe that and keep the vibration high. Hold on to what you know is true. Hold the light, okay, guys? I love you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.